Budgeting. I really used to hate the idea of budgeting, or even have eyebrows raised when I hear the word or someone talking about it. I even also used to use the word budget. I'm on a budget without actually even done it. Or I've used it many times when I was broke without having to say the word I'm broke, or never actually ever completely understanding the essence of it. I mean, I had an idea, but that was all until I moved to the US in 2020. It was not the event of moving to the US that made me start budgeting. It was the idea that I had nothing saved or invested in after 10 years of being an IT professional. And then I had also left the UK with some debts. In 2021, my business turned over about £200,000, and I didn't really know if I made a profit or not. I had an accountant, but he didn't really have any experience with managing an online store, and it seemed like we both didn't know what we were doing. So long story short, I got an accountant and we spent a few months trying to work out the numbers of exactly where the money went. And overall, I just wasn't good with money. I had a savings mindset, but I never really saved up anything. So that's when I decided in January 2022, and that's enough of me trying to save or figure this thing out on my own. I actually needed help. So I bought a course on money management, and that was one of my best investments that I ever did for myself. About a year or so into the course, I finally did a budget in December and January of 2023. February now, so it's like 2 months of actually going into budgeting. I mean, planning for the months and following up on my budgeting. Budgeting was just in my mind, but planning what I intended to do with my money before the month actually started and tracking regularly to make sure I'm on track. I'll be going into details in subsequent video. But here I'm just giving you a high level of it all actually started. So know that I didn't follow the course. I followed the course, but what I did was rather than actually budgeting like they instructed, I would just round up what I intended to spend. Say, for example, I plan on spending $2,000 for this month on all my personal spending. I'll just try and make sure that I don't spend more than $2,000 a month. And I did pretty okay on that way of budgeting. Remember, I was conscious not to spend more than $2,000. What happened was I actually was always over 150, 200-ish over my $2,000 budget, which was okay. I mean, compared to what I used to do before, where I was actually spending more than I earned. So this was progress, and I was okay with that. But then last December 2022, I decided to do an actual budget with a spreadsheet that was provided in the course. And there was something that I noticed in that month of December. I was obsessed with it. Like, I literally loved it. I could see exactly where my money was going. Of course, did use the zero-based budgeting method where you allocate all your money to expenses for or wants and needs, as well as long-term savings and debt management, debt payments rather. The goal is for your income minus your expenditure to equal zero by the end of the month. And I'll go into details about this method in another video, but this was my encounter with budgeting. As mentioned earlier, this is only 2 to 3 months worth of budgeting. And honestly, I don't think I would ever stop budgeting. Another thing was that I actually spent a little less than I budgeted for the month of January. So moving forward, I would look into different ways that I can save on grocery, which is currently one of my biggest spend in the month. So doing some research currently to see which one would fit into my lifestyle that I can actually implement. If you are a fellow budgeter, if there's a word like that, let me know what you think about budgeting or what your initial thoughts before and after. Do you like it? I want to connect with like-minded individual like yourself. So like, comment, share with anyone who you think would be interested in this. Until my next video, cheerios!